Bill O'Reilly here, Tuesday, July 28th, 2020. You're listening to the O'Reilly Update. Here's what's happening across our nation. A majority of Americans now concerned about rising crime. COVID outbreaks hit Major League Baseball. President Trump says a vaccine on the way. Some Bernie Sanders delegates threaten to derail the Democratic convention. Notre Dame University withdraws from being the site of the first presidential debate. Also, should the kids go back to school? The facts say yes. But first, new poll from Harvard says 77% of Americans are now seriously concerned about increasing crime in the USA. About half say they are in a panic over spiking gun violence in their own communities. Shootings in cities like New York, Chicago, Minneapolis up triple digits since June because of permissive policies in law enforcement. Baseball is suspending some games after players contract COVID. The Yankees, Phillies, Marlins, Orioles delaying their games because more than a dozen players on the Miami Marlins tested positive for the contagion. The entire team now quarantined. President Trump touring a North Carolina medical facility that is developing a vaccine. Mr. Trump claiming his Operation Warp Speed program has reduced the wait time by years by cutting through regulations and red tape. Promising treatment to fight the plague now entering phase 3 clinical trials, so let's all say a prayer for that, and I mean that literally. The Bernie Bros signing a petition saying they plan to vote against the Democratic platform at the upcoming convention if it doesn't include Medicare for all. 500 delegates are rejecting Joe Biden's current health care plan. It calls for a public option, but still permits private insurance. Notre Dame University scrapping its plan to hold the first presidential debate on September 29th. The college citing the growing COVID threat and bans on large gatherings. The event will now be hosted by Case Western University and the Cleveland Clinic in Ohio. The second and third debates are scheduled for Miami and Nashville. Those expositions will be extremely important for Joe Biden. In a moment, the truth about sending the kids back to school. The truth. Right back. As you may know, more than 44 million Americans have lost their jobs. The Fed just warned the recession may get worse. So I recommend you consider gold and silver. And the only company I recommend is American Hartford Gold Group. I trust them. I've done business with them. I recommend them. They sell physical gold and silver delivered right to your door or inside your IRA. And they make it easy. So please call them right now. And make sure you tell them that Bill sent you. And they will give you, ready? $1,500 of free silver on your first order. Since I've been recommending American Hartford Gold Group, gold is up more than 30%. So don't wait. Call 877-444-GOLD, 877-444-GOLD, or text GOLD to 65532. Again, that's 877-444-GOLD, or text GOLD to 65532. Time now for the O'Reilly Update message of the day. Should the kids go back to school, or is it too dangerous because of the plague? Here are the facts. In Europe, 22 countries have allowed students to return to the classroom without any spike in COVID. Did you know that? If the answer is no, then you have once again been victimized by a dishonest American press, which ignores facts that go against the anti-Trump narrative. Now, many believe the kids are a key factor to the November election. If schools cannot reopen, the psychological signal will be the pandemic has defeated the Trump administration. Already, Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi is calling the contagion the, quote, Trump virus. In 2016, women voted for Hillary Clinton 54% to 42%. Today, the school issue is obviously very important to mothers and grandmothers. Most women want their kids back in school safely. But some, not all, some Trump opponents do not want in-person classes to begin, and they use a speculative argument that it might not be safe. Many teachers' unions, fiercely pro-Democrat, are opposed to classroom education this fall, citing danger from the vicious contagion that might devastate the schools. The national press, also pro-Democrat, generally agrees. And if one child contracts COVID in school, you will definitely come to know his or her name. The Centers for Disease Control in Atlanta is pro-in-person schooling, but there may be some political pressure there, as the Trump administration is asking the medical establishment to help get the students back. So let's go to another authoritative group that also believes kids should return to class this fall: Harvard University medical researchers. To support anything Trump at Harvard is to jeopardize your position at the nation's oldest and most prestigious university. Harvard has caved into political correctness and the woke movement that is crippling freedom of speech and robust debate, which of course can lead to problem-solving breakthroughs. Simply put, the PC left rules Harvard. Therefore, when issuing perhaps the most authoritative study on COVID's impact on schools, the researchers at the Harvard School of Public Health were sure to include some Trump bashing to cover their rear assets. Boring but necessary for their academic survival. There are two key provisions in the study. Here's the first, quote, "School closures may be among the least effective of halting the spread of COVID. A study of county rates of COVID across the USA from earlier this year found no evidence that school closures influenced the growth rate in COVID infections. And two international studies found large reductions in COVID spread from social distancing policies in general, but no significant effect from school closures on their own," unquote. Someone alert CNN. By reading this study, which is available online, the conclusion reached by the Harvard researchers is clearly stated. Reopening schools should not be an us versus them argument. They need to reopen. So there you go. With some exceptions in COVID's danger zones, American schools, according to Harvard, should reopen. I'm Bill O'Reilly, and I approve that message by writing it. For more news analysis, please visit BillO'Reilly.com and join our campaign, Stand Up for Your Country. In a moment, something you might not know. When you apply for a mortgage, mortgage companies pre-qualify you based on your credit, but what comes next makes all the difference. I endorse American Financing, a company that knows how to treat customers. They don't force loan on loan on loan on you. They get to know you, then customize a program that's best for your goals, finding a great deal for you. Now, it can take time, especially since mortgage rates have fallen so much. There's a demand right now, but it's worth trying. By choosing American Financing, you can save up to $1,000 a month, maybe more. Plus, you can choose any term you need. That's going to save you a ton of money on interest. So get started today. Please call 888-462-9557, 888-462-9557, or visit AmericanFinancing.net. American Financing, NMLS 182334, and MLSConsumerAccess.org. Now the O'Reilly Update brings you something you might not know. There are currently more than 4 million confirmed cases of COVID in the USA, killing 150,000 Americans since March. With all the media attention surrounding the virus, it's easy to ignore other dangerous situations this summer, like water fatalities. Did you know drowning is the third leading cause of unintentional injury fatalities worldwide, right behind car accidents and head injuries? According to the Centers for Disease Control, about 10 people die every day in America from drowning, totaling 3,600 deaths a year. 81% of the victims are male, median age 31 years old. The level of risk actually changes depending on where you live. Folks in Florida are more likely to drown in lakes. Residents in New Jersey and Texas die in the ocean, while Californians drown in bathtubs. Most fatalities in the Golden State are unattended children in their own bathrooms. The grim stats are also split down by race and income. African American kids between the ages of 5 and 19 are 6 times more likely to drown in a swimming pool than whites, largely because they can't swim. 78% of black households are unlikely to have any swimming skills. That number drops to 62% for Hispanics. 8 in 10 families with incomes less than $50,000 don't know how to swim at all. 80%. And here's something else you might not know. According to the Red Cross, simple measures can be taken to drastically reduce the risk of drowning. Don't go in the water alone. A buddy system increases the chances of survival by 95%. Only swim in areas supervised by a lifeguard or adult. Don't dive in unfamiliar places. Finally, doctors say one of the biggest factors in adult deaths in the water, drinking alcohol. Swimming, boating, diving while drunk contributes to half of water fatalities for those over the age of 19. So if you plan on taking a swim this summer, stay sober and alert. Take it from an old lifeguard, me. Be careful in the water. And I'm not talking about sharks. Back after this. Edward and his wife, Margaret, were looking forward to retirement. Edward started having serious health issues a few years before he turned 65 and had to take an unplanned early retirement. The loss of income and medical bills meant Edward could not afford his expenses, including the premiums on a $1 million life insurance policy. Faced with lapsing their policy for nothing, Edward and Margaret turned to Coventry Direct and were able to sell the policy for $130,000. If you own a life insurance or term policy that you don't need or can't afford, Coventry Direct can help you receive an average of 4 times more cash than you'd get from your life insurance carrier. You can even sell a portion of your existing policy and still maintain coverage with no future premium obligations. See if you qualify. Please call 1-800-888-3791 or visit CoventryHelpsSeniors.com. That's 1-800-888-3791 or visit CoventryHelpsSeniors.com. Thank you for listening to the O'Reilly Update. I am Bill O'Reilly. No spin, just facts, and always looking out for you.